How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another video at Battlegrounds Game Center. I'm Patrick, and today we're going to be going through an overview slash playthrough of the very first scenario in Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs. This is the new game in the Gloomhaven line, and as you can see, it is the smallest version of Gloomhaven you'll probably ever see. I'm going to try my best to show you what I can while I'm playing. It is very tiny, but I'll punch in where I can so you can see what's going on. But I mean, you can see how small the miniatures are in this game. You got your character cards, the scenario cards actually flip and become a map, and you have ways to track your enemies and stuff. So I'll kind of explain it as we run through, but I wanted to get a fun little quick setup. It should only take about 20-ish minutes. The game is very quick, very easy to learn and play. So yeah, let's get right into it. So in the rule book they have here, it's a learn to play book. It does very well. It kind of walks you through like a first round, but also telling you all the rules you need to know. They recommend to start with the bruiser, which is what I'm going to use today. The only thing is, this is not the complete rules. Actually, you have to scan the QR code on the back. Once you're done playing through the first scenario, it recommends you to scan this QR code, go to their website, and then you'll be able to read the rest of the rules, which will kind of explain some more of the advanced things in the game that we won't be seeing today. But yeah, so I already have everything pre-set up, ready to go. I have the bruiser here. So on the back of their cards, you will see level 1 and level 2 ability cards, what they start with. So the way this version of Gloomhaven works is you'll have 4 cards for level 1 to start. And then they'll also have a second side, a B side, that you can use during the game as well. So effectively you have 8 cards to play with, but I'll explain how these work as we get playing. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump right into it. Don't want the video to be super long, but I will read the scenario card here and then we'll go to the very first scenario. So, that shrinking feeling. What a time for Gloomhaven. First, a black tornado from the void nearly destroyed the city. Then there were reports of a very essence of corruption trying to end everything. But all's well that ends well. And at the center of both events, hail, a mysterious Acer who lives in a derelict tavern, the Crooked Bone. It is said she can turn anyone into a hero, exactly what you want to be. Sure, you don't have a lot of training, but put in front of the right adventure, you'd get the acclaim that is due to you. So with the bold purpose, you step across the threshold of the Crooked Bone and, no, that's not right. Everything is growing. Why is the doorway so large? Why are you so small? Is this some sort of Acer enchantment? You've been shrunk. So the concept of this game is you're an adventurer and you get shrunk down. So hence the very small nature of the game. It's pretty good. I love it. Play scenario, a rude welcome. So that's where we're going to start. So this is what a scenario card will look like. It has all your text here that you'll read at the top, and it'll tell you what to do, and then on the bottom after you've completed the adventure. So we'll go ahead and read the scenario 1, a rude welcome. Got some fancy gear here. You whirl around, taking in your familiar yet unfamiliar surroundings. Your attention settles on a scruffy character behind you, luckily on par with your diminutive stature. Nice and shiny, like it's never been used. Hand it all over and I'll let you live. Well, that simply won't do. Your gear is unused, but there's really only one solution for that. Very good. So then we'll have what kind of monsters we'll be fighting, which is going to just be a bandit guard. And the goal of this scenario is to defeat all monsters. And over the course of the game, the scenarios will have different goals, different monsters. So yeah, so once we're done doing that, then we'll read the rest of this here, and we'll finish out the scenario. But you flip it over, and you'll see where you're going to start as your character. Obstacles that are on the ground, meaning you can't move through them. And then there's hazards here. There's little orange spots that has a little 1 on them. Basically, if you move through it or get pushed through it or anything like that, you'll take 1 point of damage, same as for the enemies. And then this is where the enemies will start, and they will start with a blue cube and a green cube. So there's no standees or minis for the enemies, just cubes. But you do get tiny little minis for yourself, which I have shown off here. So we'll go ahead and get that right here. Put our little mini on the starting position. It is so tiny. Then we got our green and blue cubes. So blue is going to go up here. Green is going to go here. So they have numbers on them as well, so 1 and 2. So green will always go before 2 goes. And then up top here, I have the enemy activation chart. So it'll tell you their initiatives, it'll tell you what they do on their turn, their health, and if they have any like shields or defenses. And then this little white cube will start in the little circle here. And what this means is when they go, or whenever you're doing initiative, you'll roll their die, and depending on what it rolls on, so like that's a negative there, it'll move the cube to the negative to show what their initiative is going to be, and then what their actions are going to be. So, and then the same thing over here, this is a modifier card. Now this starts at level 1, but then you have your own cards that will increase them. So instead of a deck of cards like in original Gloomhaven, you'll roll the die, and then depending on where it rolls will determine what modifier you have. And as you do each modifier after an attack, this cube will go down, and it'll just keep going up and down until you finish the scenario. And then the enemies have the same thing as well. Right now we're just playing on standard difficulty, but there are cards to make it easier or harder as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything that you need to set up. You got your health dials. Your health dial tells you what you start at depending on your level. We're starting at level 1, so I have 12 life to begin. So we got our little 12 life thing here. We have our full hand of cards. So yes. And then like typical Gloomhaven, you'll start by picking your card selection. So when you pick a card, everything's going to be on their A side. And then you're going to pick 2 cards. You're going to pick, say I pick this and this here. And then I'm going to pick one of these to be my initiative. So like the lower you are, so 27 to 32, 27 would go before. So the lower you are in initiative, the quicker you're going to go. And then we'll roll the die for the enemies. We'll see what their initiative is. And then whoever has the lowest initiative will go first. And then when it's my turn to go, I will pick 1 card to use the top and 1 card to use the bottom. So it alternates here. And you can always use the generic option, so like 2 attack, 2 move. But as we play, I'll kind of explain with the symbols and what I'm doing. But yeah, so I think we're ready to start. So I guess we'll go ahead and pick my first cards here. So this guy, if you can see, he's got an obstacle in between him, so I only need to move a few spaces to get at him, and I could possibly push him into a hazard. So, see what I got here. What can I do? So this has a push icon on it. Yeah, so Warding Strength has a push icon on it, push of 2. So that means when you do it, when you hit to hit them, you'll also push them. And then you strengthen yourself, which is a token, which gives you advantage on your attacks. So I might pick that one to start, because if I can move in and push him through the obstacle, it'll do some more damage. So we'll pick that. And then what do I want for my bottom? Let's see here. No movements on the bottom, but I could just use a generic card. Oh, I'm looking at the B side. There we go. So I'll just go ahead and use this card here for my movement. It also has the jump icon, so if I wanted to, I could jump over obstacles and then reposition myself, but I'm probably not going to do that. Okay, so I've got my 2 cards picked. My initiative I'm going to pick for the turn is going to be 32. So we'll roll this die and see what the enemies get. A negative. Oh no. Well, kind of ruins my plans a little bit. So since I rolled a negative, this cube is now going to move, and they now have an initiative 30, which puts them ahead of my 32. So they'll get to go. When they go, they will go from top to bottom here. So let's see here. They'll go the closest that they can go without moving through obstacles or anything like that. So green will go first because he's number 1. So green is going to move 2 spaces because the movement is 2. Then they have an attack. And now they also have a shield for the rest of the round, which once we get to my attacks, I'll explain. So he'll attack for 1, And yeah, I just take 1 point of damage. So, cool. I believe there's a way to negate that, but we're not going to worry about it right now. So if I played a card that had like shield or anything like that, it could, so like this card here has a shield too. It would have blocked against it, but only had they gone after me. So since they went before, I would have gotten the shield up, say, then I wouldn't have had the shield. I would have had to have played it before they activated. So same thing goes for them. So now they have a shield, so when I attack them, they will get an addition. Had I attacked them before they went, they wouldn't have gotten the shield. So, okay, so that was him. And then the one at the top can't quite reach me, but he'll just move 2. 1, 2. Okay, so it changed what I was going to do a little bit, but that's okay. I still think I can maneuver this. So now it's going to be my turn. So what we'll do first is movement. So I have a move with a jump, so I can jump over people or over obstacles. So I'll play that, and then I got 3 spaces I can move. So since blue got a little bit closer to me, I'm actually going to go 1, 2 on him, but since I have jump, I can move over 3. Very good. So that was that card. And then I'm going to play Warding Strength, which has an attack of 3 and a push 2. So he's next to a hazard, so I will push him into the hazard after I do my attack here, and he'll take some more damage. But first we have to see what my modifier is. So I have a base attack of 3. I'm on the top modifier chain here, so I'll roll my die and see where it lands. So it's plus. Very good. So plus is going to give me +1 to my attack. The little green circle there has a little +1. So now I have an attack of 4. However, these bandits have a passive shield of 1, so they always block 1. And since they did this quicker initiative, they have an additional shield, so it's 2. So he's only going to take 2 damage. They have 8 life. We'll go down to 6. And then the rest of my ability here has a push 2, so I get to push him 2 spaces. I'm going to push him 1, 2. So that moves him through a hazard. Can't shield that, so he'll take another point of damage. He's down to 5. And then I get to strengthen myself with a token, like I have here. Goes on my guy here to show that it's active. And then a strengthen token gives advantage on all attacks, but I remove it at the end of next turn. So if I don't use it, I lose it. And then these 2 cards, since I've used them, they will then flip over back into my hand, and now I have new options for the next turn. Now, had the card had, where is it? This symbol here, this little X symbol, it would have then been lost to me for the rest of the round. Or if it had been B already, it would have gone to the discard. But alas, it just flips over. Now I have 2 B cards, 2 A cards. And then we're on to round 2. So that's a round. Very quick and easy. Yeah, so we'll pick Unstoppable Charge, which is an attack of 4, and then Shield Bash, which has a move of 4. And then what we'll do is I'm going to pick the 15 initiative, so I'm for sure going to go first. But I still have to roll on theirs to see what their initiative is. Also, I totally forgot, when you roll on I forgot to roll their modifiers when they attacked. So I will just do that now and see what it was. It was a plus, so I actually have 1 less life. So I forgot to do them. And then whenever you do the modifiers, this cube goes down, so then their modifiers will change as it goes down. Same for me. So yeah, just one little mistake I should remember next time. Okay, so 15, we get to roll to see what their initiative is going to be. It's 30 again, so they just stay where they're at. But I still get to go first. And since I'm going before them, that shield that they would get from their card does not come into play until after they go. So they will only have their natural shield of 1 for this round. And then I have advantage on all my attacks, which is very good. So what we'll do here is we'll move 4. And the 4 I'm going to move is 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go around this obstacle here. 1, 2, 3. And just move there. just so it's harder for the green guy to get to me. And then I'm going to attack for 4. But I have my modifier die to see if what I get. I could get a -1. I could get a +2 and pretty much wipe this guy out, which I think I did. So +2 to my 4, which is 6. But he negates 1, takes it down to 5. He only has 5 life left. He's gone. We got him. Easy peasy. Very good. So I didn't even need to use my advantage token, but let's see here. So then this moves down by 1. So now this one has the potential, if I roll a negative, to completely miss the attack. So no matter how much damage I'm doing, it would completely whiff it. But that is where we're at now. So now green's going to go. So he's got a move of 2. He's just going to go 1, 2, and move up here, try to get close to me. He doesn't have any ranged attacks. So yeah, that's the end of the round again. Now, this A is going to flip into a B, come to my hand. And then this B is going to go into my discard pile. So once I fill up my discard pile, once there's at least 2 cards here, you can then take an action what's called a short rest or a long rest. So a short rest is you'll get all the cards back to your hand, and then you'll randomly pick, they'll all flip back to A's. If they were in the discard, they'll flip back to A's. And then you randomly pick a card from your hand, and then it's lost. So as the time goes on, you will start, as you rest and get your cards back, you'll start to lose cards. You could also do a long rest, which would make your initiative 99, so you'll absolutely go last. However, instead of randomly getting to discard 1, you can choose which card you want to get rid of. Also, during a short rest, you can take a point of damage to do it again if you want. But I don't think we'll really have to do any rest for this mission, but we'll see. Okay, so back to a new round. So let's go ahead and we'll play Spare Dagger and Eye for an Eye. Okay, and then we're going to pick, it doesn't really matter because they're both lower than his 30, so we'll just say 18. We still have to roll to see where he goes. So circle, so it goes right back to the middle. So it's just a move of 1 and an attack of 2, which he's only 1 space away from me. So what we'll do is I'll get to heal 2 on myself, so it has +2 heal on self. So I go back up from 10 to 12. So I'm looking pretty good, but they're not. And then I'm going to play Dagger here, Spare Dagger, which is at the top, which is a 3-hit attack at a range of 3. So I'm throwing a dagger, so I don't have to be adjacent. I can, as long as I have a line of sight to him, or 30 spaces away, I can hit him. So I'll roll my modifier die, see what I get. Hopefully not the null. Nope. I get a +1. So it is an attack of 4 now. Goes from 3 to 4. So he has a shield, goes down to 3. He takes 3 damage and goes down to 5 life remaining. Now he'll go. He'll get to move 1 space right next to me and do 2 damage, which I just healed that too. So doesn't matter. Basically nulled it. Also, this token that I had from last round went away. I'm no longer strengthened. And that's the end of the round. So then this B will go into my discard, and this A will flip into Overwhelming Assault. So now I have 2 cards left. I'm going to perform a short rest because I want to try to show you how elements work in the game. So these will flip to A's, come back to my hand, and then I have to randomly get rid of. So let's see here. Okay. All right, and okay. So I got rid of my big attack. That's fine. Goes to Lost. So then we'll have Skewer, Leaping Cleave, and Warding Strength left. So to show you how elements work, I'm going to pick these 2 cards. We'll pick 35 and see if I get to go first. I don't know if I will or not, but we'll see. So I'm picking 35. He's going to pick, oh, also, I forgot to roll his modifier again. He had an additional 2 damage on me. So I actually went down to 8. It's all right. Now he moves. All right, so rolling his initiative. Negative. 30. Well, he'll get to go before me. So he's not going to move because he's already adjacent to me. He'll hit me for 1, so plus his modifier die, which I got to remember, 0. So no additional effects, just plus 0. So he hits me for 1. I go down to 7. Now it is my turn. So on the cards, if you've played Gloomhaven, you'll know the elements board that has a bunch of tokens that kind of move up and down. This game doesn't have that exactly, so you'll see elements on the cards here. So whether they're in your hand or like on a persistent effect above you, you can elect to use them once per round. So I'm going to use the wind, and then I can apply it to one of the cards that have a wind ability. So like this one says wind X, meaning it'll use that, and it'll give me an additional ability. So this one will give me +1 attack and piercing, which goes past shields. So right now he has 2 shields, so that piercing of 2 would actually negate his shields, which is good. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use this movement here, which it has 3 and a jump. So I can jump behind him over the obstacle, and I'm putting him in the path of the hazard potentially. And then this has hexes on it, so it shows your position and then how many spaces this attack will hit on the red. So if you look at this, it's basically a straight line right now. So if the other guy was still alive and behind him, I'd be hitting both. But we're not doing that today. So I have 3 + 1 because I used the wind element with Pierce 2, meaning I negate his shield. Now, we have to see what my modifier is, so I got a negative, which is a -1. So unfortunately, that +1 I got is negated completely. So it's just 3. So I do 3 damage to him, completely ignoring his shields because it has Pierce 2. So he's going to go down to 1, 2, 3. He's got 2 life left. Oh no. I don't think he could hit me hard enough to where I'm going to lose this, but you never know. So we'll take these cards in. Skewer is going to go to my discard, and Leaping Cleave is going to flip, go back to my hand, so I'll have an A and a B. But yes, we have a new round. Oh, I forgot to do his modifier. Or no, he already did his. That was mine. So then I moved down, and he moved as well. Okay. So yeah, I'm just going to pick 18 to go first. So it doesn't really matter what he rolls. He likes his quick initiative apparently today. All right. So yeah, this makes the most sense. So I'm going to heal 2. So I go back up to 9. And then I'm going to do Warding of Strength again, the first card I did last time, or at the very beginning of the video, or the scenario. It's 3 damage with a push 2. So 3 damage with my modifier is a -1, so 2 damage. He has a shield. It goes down to 1. However, I push him, which I positioned myself the round before so that I had the possibility of pushing him into the hazard. He gets pushed into the hazard, or through it, and he takes 1 point of damage. So he is eliminated, and that is the end of the round, or the end of the scenario. I've defeated both of the enemies. Yeah, and that's all I had to do for this scenario, so we're done. You would take your scenario card, which is on the back, has all the words, and then we'll read it, and then it has a thing to read here called the collector. Well, your gear certainly isn't shiny anymore, and it wasn't even particularly fancy to begin with, come to think of it. Got the job done at least, but your situation is quite dire. You'll need to survive long enough to find out how to restore yourself to original size. But for now, you'll need to deal with the vermling that just appeared. And it'll read the collector. But I'm going to end it right there so we don't get into spoiler territory. I just wanted to go ahead and show you the very first scenario, the mechanics of the game. Again, this isn't all the rules. There's still rules for items, which you can see are on the scenario cards themselves. You'll be picking up items to use. Some of the things the book doesn't cover is items, recovering, scenario effects, terrain, and upgraded abilities, so like leveling up and stuff, because you do get new cards as you level up. But yeah, if you want the full rules, you go to this QR code here, or you can visit cephalofair.com/BNB, and you get the full rules right there right now. But yeah, so that is Gloomhaven, Buttons and Bugs, a little quick overview / playthrough of the very first scenario. Thank you everyone for joining in on the video. I hope this was entertaining for you guys. This is our very first kind of like just gameplay go through. I was excited to do this with this game. I know it's very small components, and hopefully I'm able to show you what you need to see. But if you like this video and you want to see more like it, go ahead and like and subscribe at the bottom of the screen here. We do have Gloomhaven Buttons and Bugs available in store or on our web store, so I'll also leave a link down in the description below. So thank you again for joining us, and until next time, I'm Patrick at Battlegrounds Game Center. See you later.